Hi, everyone. My name's Tom Langen, and this is Something Good, the bite-sized podcast about anything and everything good, for goodness sake. Welcome to episode 3. Up on today's episode is kind of a broad subject, but one that's near and dear to my heart and something that I believe in 100%, and that is volunteer work. So first, as usual, let's cover the what. So what is volunteer work? So a volunteer is, according to the dictionary, a person who freely offers to take part in a task or enterprise. Okay, pretty straightforward. It's an offer of help, I think. This is kind of my definition, an offer of help that benefits someone else. There are lots of different kinds of volunteer work. You can volunteer for local charities. You can volunteer to help a friend move. I think we've all been there. I think we've all probably also had the experience of being asked to help a friend move when that friend was really more of an acquaintance and you didn't quite know each other well enough to really get that invitation. That's always a tough one. I think really you can only ask good friends to help you move. Just as a side note, as a personal opinion thing. I don't think it's okay to ask acquaintances to help you move. I think that's a step too far. There's something intimate about asking for that kind of help from someone, and it's not something you do of an acquaintance. So just make sure, just going forward, if any of you listening are moving anytime soon, and asking people to help you, make sure you know them. Make sure they're good friends. Don't take advantage. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Anyway, moving on. You can help a friend move. You can pick up garbage in your local community. There are a lot of community cleanup days. A lot of communities do that to pick up garbage along the roadways that for some reason, I don't understand this. Apparently, people still think it's okay. Some people still think it's okay to throw garbage out of the window of their car as they're driving down the road. And if you are one of those people, I just want to let you know that you're a terrible person and karma will come and get you. That's all. I just think you're a terrible person if you throw garbage out of the window of your car. Simple as that. So yeah, you can do community cleanups. You can work with an organization. You can go to the opposite end of the spectrum, do something large scale, work with an organization like Habitat for Humanity, building houses for people. That's something that I've done in the past. I worked with Habitat for Humanity when I was in college. We took a spring break trip and went down to North Carolina. I think it was outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and built a house essentially in a week. We got there and the foundation was done and the first floor was essentially laid, and we put up all the walls, put the trusses on for the roof, sheathed it, closed it in, started the roofing process. We didn't finish the roofing process, but hung drywall. There was basically, a lot of a finished house there by the time we left after a week. It was an incredibly rewarding experience. And if you have the chance to work with Habitat for Humanity, I happen to personally know one of the folks that works for Habitat here in the Hudson Valley, Jen Radicone. She's an awesome person. And their organization is awesome. I highly encourage you to get involved with them. On a side note, just on a personal level, I really like that organization. I think they're great. I'll talk more about them probably in another episode. But yeah, Habitat for Humanity, you can join a local volunteer fire department, another one that's near and dear to my heart. As I mentioned in the introduction, I am a member of a volunteer fire department. I'm an EMT. I respond as an exterior firefighter and an EMT. I drive a couple of the different rigs. And it's something that I've been around my entire life. I literally cannot remember a time when I wasn't around the volunteer fire service because of my father. So growing up on Sunday mornings, we would go up to the firehouse with my dad. Usually my sister and I, pardon me, my sister and I would watch cartoons, or there was a pool table. We would play pool against each other as kids and hang out at the firehouse on Sunday mornings. So I've always been around it my whole life. I think it's a great way to give back to your community. It's a great way to serve your community. It's a great way to help your neighbors when typically they're having a very bad day. If you have to call the fire department, either because of a fire or because you've been involved in an accident of some kind, an automobile accident, or had an accident at your house. If your local fire department also handles EMS services for your community, you're typically having a bad day when you interact with us, and it's a great way to be there for your neighbors when they're having a bad day, when they're in a moment of need. So I would definitely encourage you to look into joining a local volunteer fire department, volunteering your time that way as well. But really, when you get down to it, volunteering is something that is easy to do and something you absolutely should take advantage of whenever you have the opportunity to do it. Um, so why volunteer, right? I mean, on the surface, there's the obvious answer because it helps other people, and that's a good thing. Yes, absolutely. Helping other people is definitely something good and definitely something you should do. So that is a great reason to volunteer. But there are other reasons why you should volunteer. Um, it's also good for you. It's a great way to feel a sense of accomplishment. It's really satisfying when there's a lot of training involved. I'm going to take my example for becoming a volunteer firefighter. There's a lot of training involved in becoming a volunteer firefighter and becoming an EMT. Literally hundreds of hours of training, and there's an amazing sense of accomplishment when you complete the training. You get qualified. You get a certificate from the state saying that you're qualified to do certain things. It's rewarding. It gives you a personal sense of pride and accomplishment. So there's that. You also can get a sense of pride and accomplishment from completing a build with Habitat for Humanity, knowing that you've helped put a roof over a family's head. That's, an incredible accomplishment and something that anybody who participates in should be very proud of. So it's a great way to develop a sense of accomplishment or create a sense of accomplishment for yourself. It's a really good way to broaden your social circle. I have made a lot of friends from my volunteer work. I've made a lot of friends, in the fire department that I'm involved with. I have friends from the last volunteer fire department I was in a different community that I lived in that I'm still in touch with, that I've known for over 20 years. Um, so it's a great way to broaden your circle of friends, create lasting friendships whenever you have shared experiences like those you have during volunteer work. It really helps cement friendships. So it's a great way to broaden your social circle. Volunteer work literally makes you happier and healthier. It can boost serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphin levels. Those are all the kind of feel good, happy hormones, as they're called by some folks. And so volunteering boosts all of those, helping other people boosts all of those. And so it can literally lower your blood pressure, ease anxiety, reduce your stress levels, and actually literally make you physically happier and healthier. So there's another really good reason that probably a lot of people don't think about when it comes to volunteer work, that volunteering with an organization actually can make you physically better. Not just an emotionally or spiritually better person, but physically a better person. That sounds like a pretty good reason to me. And then also, and really, I mean, I guess really what that just boils down to is that it's good to be good. It's good to be good to other people, and it's good for you to be good. So again, I mean, if you needed a better reason, I can't think of one. You shouldn't need a better reason, really, is what it comes down to. You should get out and volunteer. That's what I'm saying. So what I think you should do is I think you should find a local volunteer organization. There are tons of them out there. Find something you're passionate about, find something you're interested in, and I guarantee you can find a volunteer organization that is based around that thing. Get involved, give a little of yourself to that organization. It will help someone else, whoever that volunteer organization aims to help. It will help them, and it'll help you. And helping is something good. That's it for today. Thanks so much for listening once again. My name is Tom Langen. This is Something Good, a bite-sized podcast about anything and everything good, for goodness sake. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and rate us on iTunes, please, if you enjoy the podcast. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.